Guys, Daniel here from myfeedonyoutears.com. Decided to start doing video blogs this year just to pretty much go through the car and let you guys know what's going on with it and follow it throughout the drift season and see how we do pretty much. Compared to my 180, still wanted to go with a big flared kit and all that, so I've gone with a Works 9 body kit all around, as you can see here, with the nice step lip. I believe it's a version 2 type of the kit, as the other one's a bit more Euros looking. Currently don't have the front bar on, but sitting down there. Front fender's a 35mm D-Max wide body. Not too bad. Fitment was a bit horrible, as you would expect from a lot of China parts these days, as they are no longer made in Japan. But on the rear we've gone with Origin 50mm wide fenders and pretty much had to do zero modifications to these. Only thing I think I did was trim the lip off on the inside here just to stop the tyre rubbing from bumps or bottoming out and all that sort of stuff there. Just saves you smashing this all apart and having to replace them over and over again. Onto the wing, massive wing. It's not a big Country Lab wing, it's actually a Jap Speed big gay wing they call it. Originally had fiberglass legs and all that and fiberglass mounts, but my good mate Matt Craig, through his work, was able to CNC up these nice alley mounts, and we redesigned the legs and made them solid, which I think makes it a lot more better, and also replaced the end caps with some larger of the Jap Speed ones compared to the normal teardrops. Usual stuff on the rear, just latched down because I didn't have a boot thing. Bonnet over here is actually a D-Speed item through my mate Kieran. Pretty much exact copy of the D-Max one. What I really like about this copy is it actually has the top vent up here, compared to most copy bonnets don't actually have that at all. But as you can see, all black underneath vent. The back vent actually does not go through, but you can actually cut that bottom section out. And traffic going by. Alrighty, get into the inside of the car now. Nothing too crazy, just pretty much patched up the dash there, bogged it, fiberglassed it, done a custom fill in and flocked it and all that to keep it simple. Another thing from my mate Craig was a Power Max hydraulic handbrake. He's actually CNC'd up that handle for me to go in there to step it forward a bit closer to me, and it also adds a bit more style. Shifter is just a short shifter Hurst item. Nice fancy camo gear knob on there. Up here we got my switch panel, pretty much controls everything. So you pretty much got this is all the main ones here, your AccuSump, that's electrics like dash and all that stuff, and then that's ignition and all that, and that's fire it up. Didn't label anything, didn't see a point. I'm the only one that drives the car, so there's no reason for anyone else to know what everything does. Down here is a nifty little item, accumulator. What this does is if oil pressure drops below a certain amount in the engine, this cylinder has a big cylinder in there that's pressurized. Will push that oil into the engine to bring the PSI back up. Once it's at good running pressure again, this will fill back up with that excess oil pretty much for when it drops again. Just a good little safety thing in case the engine decides to kill itself or anything like that. All the usuals, bride buckets for driver and passenger with Sparco 4-point harnesses. These are only, I think they're only 2-inch wide harness. Kind of wish I did go with the 3s now, but they should do the job. Roll cage is actually by Bond's Roll Bars. It was extremely difficult to fix. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of the design, as these bars do. As you can see, they drop down really close up here, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem, hopefully, with the dish steering wheel and all that. It's all in, but my mate Luke helped me out too by welding those rear feet to the plates and doing the harness bar and all that sort of stuff for me, so it's all on the correct angle to be CAMS approved, and just put the padding in the places that it need be where your head can hit. Alright, I'll jump over to the driver's side. Alrighty, over in this side here. Over here you can see the cluster here, which is actually a Digidash item I found in from the UK. Great little thing. I actually saw it in another drift car in the UK. Pretty much all this will do is show me all my temps. Be tacho there, and you have your oil temp, oil pressure, water temp and all that on board. Good thing about this is it'll flash up with an alarm if anything's low and all that. No real need for a speedo in a drift car, to be honest. I put one in the last car and never ever looked at it when I was driving, so I didn't see the purpose in having it in this one. Just really reduces clutter from having gauges all over the place and all that. Went with the Sparko 2-spoke to keep with the whole Formula Drift theme, with a quick release of course, which is always handy. Down here is another nifty thing. This is actually a pedal box that comes with the fueled racing kit. Actually got through LS2 Drift. Usually it's only for the right-hand drive cars, due to the fact that all the master cylinder and all that stuff on the inside of the engine bay will hit on things. Mine's pretty simply set up. It's going to be something to get used to with the pedal swinging down like this. I'm used to having my foot down on the floor and being light on the accelerator and all that sort of thing, so now it's kind of full force the whole time. It's going to be different. And up there you can actually just see the reservoirs where I've put them for. So 2 for the brake and 1 for the clutch res, and also got the other res here which is for the hydro. Bit more on the hydro. I've actually got the line running into here and it T-pieces off for a dual brake kit which I've got running on the rear here. And what we got here is, if you can see through there, we got 2 Z32 calipers in there. So one will be utilised for the handbrake and the other one will be utilised by the foot brake. Actually running different pads in these, just purely for heat. For the handbrake I've got a pad that I think I'm running a Bendix Ultimate or something like that. Something that will grip really tight, being on and off all the time. Doesn't require too much warming up over time, whereas the other one's pretty much just your standard pad, just nice grippy pad. On the front is pretty much just standard 4-pot S14 brakes with slotted rotors. It's the same on the rear. Nothing too crazy yet because not pushing a huge amount of power enough to warrant it at all. Onto the engine bay. Heated LS swap I've done in this, running a GM LS2 engine. Actually had the heads fully rebuilt, springs, lifters, 5-angle valve grind and all that stuff done by my mate Gorda at Low Key Motorsport. Also did a custom grind cam for us which has been installed. The car's actually getting tuned next week and we're hoping to put out around 430 rear wheel horsepower, so I'll definitely put up a video with a dyno run and all that once it's going. Bit more about it, nothing special. Catch can in the engine bay just for oil, and Mishimoto radiator there. The mount kit is all fueled racing items. Might be a bit tricky to see. The mount's down under there. It's a fueled racing solid mounts, and then Moroso fuel pan that comes with the fuel racing kit. Also running the fueled racing drive shaft and the oil filter relocate, which is up there in that corner. Anything else? Just pretty much 4-inch intake. It's all going to be MAFless tuned and all that. Up the back here, I've done a little thing here where I've T-pieced the put a T-piece in with the oil pressure and oil temp sender there. Usually this is the factory spot for the GM's factory oil pressure sender. I just teed that in there so that goes straight to my cluster, so I get all my details straight away once I've fired the engine up. Some heat socks and all that. It's fueled racing long tube headers. One thing about this kit to take note of is because it's for right-hand drive, there is actually that big notch there I've had to do in the chassis rail for the headers to run by. I did mine quite a lot larger than needed, but just purely for engine movement and that. And down here you can see the how close the drive shaft actually gets to the headers. It is very close. Here, because this is a lot thicker and this shaft goes actually all the way up inside, I've tapered it there for about 2 centimeters, pretty much just to clear.
I've seen in other cars they've done the swap. I've seen them hitting and all that stuff and wearing the headers. These headers actually came out of the LS2 Drift S14, and you can see here where it's slightly been rubbing on the header originally. So I've just shaved that back just so pretty much a little bit extra clearance. Whole loom goes through the firewall there. That was not done by me though.
Alrighty, go on to some suspension now.
What we got under here is pretty much Power Max everything. I've swapped over subframe risers, all your arms, camber, traction, toe, lower control arm is all Power Max items. The knuckle itself is actually just painted that gold. That's a S14 knuckle, purely because I had to modify. If we can get the camera up in here, the mounts there I had to cut off to run the dual caliper setup. As you can see, that's where the factory mounts usually are for the standard caliper. I've cut them off to allow for the bracket here for our dual Z32 setup there. Eventually I'd like to go to maybe a Power Max drop knuckle to pretty much accompany everything else, and also not just for the drop, but also because it comes factory for a dual caliper setup there with the Willwood twin pots. Same deal on the other side, exact same arms, cut knuckle, S13 knuckle. Diff is a Tomei 2-way, I believe. Don't mind the breather tube chilling about there to fix that. Exhaust here also. Exhaust is full custom, twin 3-inch or V-band with an X-pipe in the middle there. And then it flares out here. Flares out to twin 4-inch tips. This was actually made by my friend Ben, Kamikaze Performance. Extremely loud with no mufflers. I've actually already been told I might need to look into some mufflers for Barbagallo Raceway, but we'll see how we go with that. I'm going to give it a shot first because it actually sounds pretty damn awesome. Nothing else fancy under here. Factory sway bars. Currently, eventually I'll go to some white lines. We'll jump onto the front of the car. Alright, under the front here, once again, factory S14 knuckle for now. The S14 brakes, like I said, teen drift coilovers all around. Power Max again, front lower control arm, stock sway bar. Tie rods are actually a custom item, and I believe they came with these tie rod ends, which I believe they're Megan Racing ones, but there's a custom spacer and all that in there, because what we've actually done, we've had to move the rack forward and across, which is actually very tricky to see. Probably can't see much there, but if you go check out my my blog, you'll be able to see where we've customized the rack to move the entire rack over 40mm towards the driver's side, pretty much just to get that drive shaft clearing the long tube headers to be able to run those. Some tyres, pretty much going with some rotors, just purely because running Viennas was going to be way too expensive on tyres, and the fact if you damage a rim you can't get anymore, you're pretty much screwed. So they're a nice white rim, I reckon looks good against the paint. Rotor boosts, I believe they are. Tyre wise, firstly, yeah, the 18x10s all around, hoping to drop down by an 18x9 up the front is what I want to go to. Tyre wise, running some Marshalls I got from Westy a while ago. They're 255/35. Eventually I'm probably going to drop down to a 235/45, or whichever is the cheapest for an 18. Pretty much till I get used to it. These will probably be a bit grippy for me and way too big right now. Up front, always had problems with front tyres, so I decided to just fork out. I've gone with some Nitto NTO5s and a 225/40 R18. Should provide a shitload of grip in the semi-slick. I believe a fair few other drifters, I think Mad Mike has gone to these tyres, and Matt Powers and a few other drivers are now using them in FD, so it should be interesting to see how they go. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole overview of a drift car. The last thing I pretty much think is gutted doors and all that. Hopefully you should get tuned next week, and I'll put up a dyno video and we can go from there, and
from now on I'm going to try and keep vlogs updated and give you guys all some video footage of in-car and let you guys know what's going on with it, and should have a good time. Thanks for watching.